The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Thursday evening for most of you, into the night for some of you, depending on where you're watching from. I don't know why our names aren't on there, but we're going to take care of that right now because that's kind of ridiculous. There it is. There we go. I am, of course, Jeff Meacham. You're watching the Jeff Meacham Network, and across the Multiverse of Media, over here is our good buddy Braden Timmons, longtime friend of the show now, apparently, because we've had him on so many times promoting his amazing filmmaking work. And I am stoked because I finally got to meet Braden back at H45. We'll get the pictures up here momentarily. But we wanted to do an interview at that point during September and October, and it was just bonkers because it was Halloween, and it's always bonkers for us at Halloween. But good to have you back on, man. Let's just dive right in. We had you on to promote the Haddonfield Nightmare, which was the fan film project that you and your team had conceptualized to have a proper, in our opinion, sequel to H2O, which was one of the best Halloween stories, Halloween movies ever created. And now it's evolved into not just one sequel, but two. The Last Nightmare Part 1 is currently in production. The link is over at Braden Socials. We'll get to those at the end, and across the Indiegogo still, correct? Or no, relaunching Indiegogo in February.
Yes. We are relaunching Indiegogo in February. This is the last call campaign. We're doing it a little earlier this time. Last time with Haddonfield, we did a last call like before the movie came out, but we've decided to push it a little bit earlier. And it's mostly also because we're doing a first, like, this isn't a trailer that's coming out. This is just an official clip for the movie. So this is the official, it's an official clip. This will be in the movie. So, you know, sometimes people shoot a concept clip or something like that. No. This is an actual clip from the script that will be in the overall film. And now we just kind of got to get everything else mixed around it and all that stuff. We're very excited though. We are very, very excited to get back out there. And, you know, it's always fun when you're on set and you're able to get a character like Michael Myers in a frame, and you just see how it looks, and it just it just sends shivers down your spine. You're like, oh, that's a sweet shot, you know?
Right. Yeah, so, I remember talking to you prior to the release of Haddonfield Nightmare, and then watching it. I watched it back again today, and I was remembering talking about the clips, the end fight with Michael and John, and just remembering, like, I remember talking about that. I remember who was involved and what was involved, and it's like, man, here we go. We're right back into it. By the way, I've seen the clip. Feel free to use my quote I used earlier, but you can augment it. The quote's going to be when people see this clip tomorrow morning. Michael is not fucking around this time. It is not happening. He is done screwing around with these kids. It's over. So it's beautiful.
Yeah, to kind of pinpoint what you were talking about, like I can't believe that it's been like 3 years since I've been on the show. Like,
mean, it is. It's crazy.
The time period between Haddonfield Nightmare to now just seems non-existent. It just seems you know, here we are, we're getting ready. And because I remember when I was promoting our short film Sally that we did, or even My Special Boy, the question that I constantly got asked was, hey, when are you working on the sequel to Haddonfield Nightmare? Yada, yada, yada. Right. And I mean, yeah, obviously we're now very excited to share the news that we're doing, because the initial concept that we had is we were going to do The Last Nightmare as one complete movie. And then if like the excitement was around, we were going to go back and do a prequel called Halloween 22 Hours Later. That was going to showcase how Michael ended up getting captured and got brought back to Smith's Grove and kind of connect to the events that happen in the Haddonfield Nightmare. But unfortunately, we hadn't hit our goal the first few times that, you know, and I do think, because looking at it now, we're making, and even with the new goal that we have in February that you're going to see, it's relatively low. We've figured out a way how to break our story into 2 parts. And so we looked at the script. I mean, this isn't a new script. This is literally just putting a stopping point in where we're going to end. You know, it's the same script that me and my co-writer Zach Dion wrote together, and we were like, okay, where would be a good point to stop? And we were like, boom, right here. This is going to leave a big cliffhanger for part 2.
Like that.
And the thing that I love about this story is that it's all going to feel continuous, which means that there's Haddonfield Nightmare. Right. You've kind of you're going along with John Tate and his day and everything. You get to Halloween night. You see the showdown between John Tate and Michael. The Last Nightmare Part 1 picks up literally minutes after the events of Haddonfield. And then Last Nightmare Part 2 picks up right where the end of Part 1 leaves off. So it all takes place really between Haddonfield Nightmare's Halloween night to The Last Nightmare Part 2. It's all one night. So it is all one very long, continuous night. And that's it. So
I remember the conversation we had in line. I think you were, if I remember right, you were in either Danielle or Nick Castle's line, because Nick Castle's line was going out to the damn door. It was ridiculous. And then John showed up, of course, and everything became apeshit. As it does when John shows up at these things. John Carpenter, by the way, for those of you. By the way, happy belated birthday to both you and John Carpenter this last week. I completely forgot to message you. That was a complete derp on my part. And then I didn't post yesterday for John Carpenter. So happy birthday to both of you, by the way.
You're all good. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. But I remember when you were kind of like looking around and were showing me the still image of Michael in the upcoming film, and you told me at that point it was going to be 2 parts, and my eyes got as big as the CM. I was like, what? So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to, again, as I told you, as I've told our audience, H2O was really my gateway to the Halloween franchise. That's the first one I ever saw with my son's mom at the time. We were dating at the time, and she introduced me to it, and I fell so in love with the Myers story because of H2O and how it was presented, how they brought Laurie back after killing her off in the Thorn saga, or however they want to describe it. And I will admit, when you first told me it was going to be a 2-parter and that your series was going to end up being a trilogy, I immediately thought Blumhouse did the same thing. And then it felt like Kills was just kind of there. But I also feel like I have more confidence in you and your team that it won't be just this movie is just here and then the ending's going to be what it's going to be, because like I said, and like I said to you at the convention, I am so grateful to the community, the Halloween community, because it feels like we all enjoy what we enjoy in this series. We all dislike what we dislike, but there's this common thread of, no matter what any of us do, whether it's the fans making the fan films, whether it's the commentaries, it feels like we all want to see this series, this saga, this story, this shape, this person continue to thrive. And I really felt like Universal bringing back Michael and Blumhouse bringing back Michael was kind of one of those, okay, we had what we had with Rob Zombie, we had what we had at the end of Resurrection, and here's what we have now. And I feel like as long as there's love of the franchise, that, much like Mr. Okada's always said, he'll never really die. And I think that's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that you kind of hit it right on the head. It's that, the thing that keeps the legacy of Halloween alive is like, those that talk shit about fan films, it's like, there's no real reason to, because it's like, it gives you different elements and different stories and different ideas that it's no different than writing a fan-made comic book or a fan-made, just short story or something like that. Like, these are things that you think about, like, oh, I would do this. And it's like, this is what we decided to do. And, the story that we wanted to tell. And it's because I love the character of John Tate. I want to see how his story plays out. So the fact that I've had an opportunity to kind of, write that in a way and kind of right the wrong that Halloween Resurrection gave the fans, I'm really grateful for that. And I'm grateful that a lot of people have liked the movie, loved the movie. And that, I mean, hey, it's how it goes. There's a lot of people that also hate the movie, and I've seen the comments. The thing about me is that I've read every single comment on Haddonfield Nightmare over and over and over again. There's 1.2K comments on the movie on YouTube, and I've read every single one of them. And I do it because when I was looking for, and those that give constructive feedback, I'm like, okay, that's awesome. That's the exact type of feedback that I want to make sure that I get, So looking at that is how I essentially decide. I'm like, okay, this is what the fans liked. This is what they didn't like. For example, one of the criticisms that we got was that our movie was more subtle instead of being the over-the-top, gory, violent and stuff. But the thing is that the original Halloween movie, Haddonfield Nightmare, is kind of a homage to the original Halloween. It's not very violent. It's not very over the top. But in this one, as you've seen in the clip, Michael is at his full force. Like, this is like basically Haddonfield Nightmare, because the opening shows, the officers taking Michael back to Smith's Grove where he's meant to rot. That's what
in '98, right? Yes.
It's supposed to contain him. And then 22 years later, these teenagers, they're there, they rile him up a little bit, and Michael's back out. Now John Tate and our characters and our supporting characters have to, go and deal with that. And now he's kind of rusty. He gets his ass beat a lot in Haddonfield Nightmare.
Yeah, he does.
But this is now him re-becoming the full form of the shape and everything. So like that's what I would basically describe this movie. So yeah.
That comment, by the way, Matthew, thank you for watching along with us. I've always felt that the different communities of fandom all have such similarities. Wrestling fans are the same way, man. Wrestling fans, they can't just like everything. They have to pick apart every friggin' thing. And it's like, how about instead of picking it apart, don't criticize with your hate speech or just overall negativity. Just pick up that little clicker, or in this case, your mouse, and just click off it. Bye. Don't have to watch it anymore. But to your point, constructive criticism is so key. Like you said, a lot of people had a lot of issue as far as the quote unquote hardcore Halloween fans of Michael's over the top brutality in the trilogy, the Blumhouse trilogy. I was all for it. Yeah, I remember something, guys. He's 60-something years old. He's been incarcerated for 40 years, and all he's had time to do is sit there and think. And now he's out. He don't have to think no more. He can act. He can do. Braden's characters have a similar thing. He was supposed to be rotting away in this sanitarium. By the way, the prequel I mentioned, I would have loved to have seen that extrapolated on, because that opening scene of Nightmare in 1998 outside Smith's Grove was like, ooh, okay, here's where we are. So love the idea. Just throwing it out there. If it ever happens, I'm here for it.
But I mean, and basically this like, I mean, obviously, well, I can't really say too much about the clip. Here I am thinking that it's out already. Like, I'm like about to spoil it for people. I'm not going to do that, guys. I promise. I caught myself. But basically, this movie is Michael. It's almost like it's kind of funny, because it's like we start Haddonfield Nightmare at Smith's Grove. In the middle, we're at Smith's Grove. He comes to Haddonfield. John takes him back to Smith's Grove in a way to kind of, you know, get him away from the town so he could fight him there and everything. John thinks he comes out on top, and then Michael's now just making his way back to Haddonfield again. It's like it's like those memes or these videos like that I love on TikTok, where it's like me showing up at the bar at 2 a.m. after my friends got me an Uber home. This is basically what Michael is doing. It's like John and them brought him to Smith's Grove for a reason, and now they realize that they lose, and now he's back in Haddonfield. And it's just like, oh, shit, like we're back to square one, right where we started. How are we going to stop this guy? So
it's and it's great. The clip is what it is. It's a first look, but you have no idea how we got from A to B, which is great, because you know, spoiler, I'm not spoiling the clip for tomorrow. I'm spoiling, you know, if you haven't seen Haddonfield Nightmare. By the way, it is on YouTube. It is still out there for you guys to watch. I'm only wanting the hard copy because rainstorms suck and my entire horror collection got ruined. So, you know, it is what it is. But we're left to think that, you know, John thinks it's over. His daughter thinks it's over, but we hear that infamous breathing and we see that hand twitch, and that's it. That's the parting shot. And so now it's like, okay, you see this first look tomorrow morning. How do we get from him, you know, laid out in the middle of the grounds of Smith's Grove to what happens in the clip? That's the great weaving. Great, like, okay, let's hook him in and make sure we get the February 2nd campaign off to a like, oh shit, I got to see what happens start here. So love it, man. Absolutely love it.
And it is going to be, and I'm telling my team that it is integral that we do have a really good first day, you know, back on Indiegogo. And it does seem like, I mean, our Facebook page has grown quite a bit. I mean, the main page, not the group. Like, there's a group that we have, and then there's the page. The page has blown up for whatever reason. I'm like, holy cow. There's people commenting. I mean, when we posted our first poster, the wallpaper that's on the background here. When we posted the first poster, we only had like 4,000 people in there, which is a good amount of people, but people weren't interacting. We didn't know how to get people to interact. And I honestly think it's because our marketing sucked. Our stuff that we were posting just was terrible. And so honestly, like in between releasing the poster that we have now to releasing this clip tomorrow. Thank you. I mean, I've gone back and I've deleted everything that looks just unprofessional.
Oh, yeah.
I've gone back and I've removed everything that looks like shit, everything that, doesn't show us as what we're trying to be. And we're trying to make this as professional looking as possible. So yeah, like this is like what we posted here today. And I mean, like our marketing has just really picked up. So, I think that that's been a huge benefit for us for this overall first look and why our page has grown as much as it has. So,
well, I do like this image in that it kind of is a similar approach to what the big studios took, because all we saw on all three posters originally was just Michael's face and only part of it. Mm-hmm. Eventually it grew into, the picture, the one of him and Lori side by side. For kills, it was, the group of them. For ends, it was everybody. But, again, this one, the one that's being promoted for tomorrow, harkens back to another one of those classic shots where it's like you're seeing Michael's face, but you're pulled back from it. So you get a, what is he thinking? What is he going to do? What's going to happen? And I'm telling you guys, when you see this clip tomorrow, you're going to be like, oh, that's what he's doing. And it's going to be off to the races. So February 2nd is the day, correct?
Yes, February 2nd.
Yes, and again, you mentioned the social chatters picked up. I'm telling you guys, it was so cool to be a part of the original Haddonfield Nightmare as far as the Indiegogo, the campaign. It was cool. I told Braden I was going to watch the movie today to kind of get my mind into where we were when we left off with this story, and we're watching the credits, and my son, he was sitting here before he went to the hockey game. He was like, wait a minute, pause it, and he rewinded. What's your name in there? I said, well, yeah, I contributed to the campaign. I was like, oh, that's so cool. You're in a Halloween movie. It's like, well, yeah, it's such a unique experience to be part of something that, anybody that knows me prior to 5 years ago, I'm like, nope, no horror. I'm good. Thanks. Like I'm a chicken shit. Not only part of that. And it's really neat that the fans of Halloween get to, and the fans of your stuff. I mean, getting a chance to send a copy of my Special Boy, the Jason Project, out to my friends in Michigan, because they're such Friday the 13th fans. It's great that, again, the fandom is so powerful for these stories, and these characters are so unique and deep in lore that there's always a calling for them. There's always, as much as the characters within the story have this drive to complete their task. In Michael's case, it's to just wipe everybody out. Mm-hmm. We fans are just so driven to get anything we can on them and be able to appreciate the appreciation of what we love so much. I think that's so cool that we all get to do that as fans. And, creative people like you get to go out there and go out into the areas of Illinois that just fit in so well to the story making. A friend of mine out here who's a filmmaker is, doing his fan film based on a little short film he did, a couple of years ago. So it's really neat that as long as you guys stay within the guidelines, you're good to go. I have a friend who is primarily a anime voice actor, but he was deeply involved in a project called Star Trek Continues, which basically wrapped up the original series. I love that. I have the Blu-ray set of that because it was so like, it feels like the original thing. Your guys' work feels like, and I'm not trying to blow a whole bunch of smoke up your ass or whatever, but it really feels like I could walk into a DVD or Blu-ray or whatever store and go and not have any problem seeing your stuff right alongside, the Thorn Saga or anything like that, because it feels like so deeply connected to the original stories. And I think that's the best part of it for me.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the approach that as fans we want to take. I mean, I think fans have such great ideas, and I think that I love fan films, man. Like, there's another few of them that I want to give a shout out to. I mean, we've got Halloween Stalks. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
No.
They're a bit shorter. But Halloween Stalks, they have Halloween Stalks 2 coming out March 15th. The trailer just came out. It looks awesome. Those guys are a great group of filmmakers, and James Grimm, the co-director of My Special Boy, has Halloween Aftermath coming that him and his team are working on.
That one I did see.
Which is supposed to be like it's a segue between Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, and is supposed to tell the story of how Michael ended up in the sewer and stuff like that.
Okay.
So apparently there was still
cool.
some mayhem that he was doing on Halloween night in 2018 or whatever. Yeah, because Halloween Kills was 2018. So I think that that's an interesting route to take. I'll be curious to see how they see that. So, I mean, it's like, and again, that is an interesting concept because, I mean, in Halloween Ends, it was just kind of like he disappeared for 4 years. Nobody knows where he is. The audience does. He's in the sewers, right? And that's about it. But what made Michael go down into the sewers? I'd be curious to see, like, if they include the manhunt or something like that, the beginning of the manhunt. That would be a really cool thing. That's what I would do, at least. So
definitely curious. Yeah, I mean, it's as much as Ends was supposed to be okay. This is the end for our originals. I mean, Nick was so heavily involved, and Laurie Strode, finally gets one up on Michael. And I've been saying since I went and saw Ends in theaters, like, motherfucker comes back from a car thresher, I'm done. Like, there's no coming. Like, decapitation retcon, I can get behind. Okay, like, because you can see that he comes back from being threshed. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, right.
So I would be curious how we got from the end of Kills with him just completely taking out Laurie's daughter to he's been hiding. Like, why? Yeah. So that's very cool. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be curious to see what they do with that. I mean, yeah.
With the knowledge out there that there has been a deal struck as far as television rights, what would you want to see from that front as a fan and as a filmmaker and making these fan films? Because what I was thinking was I would love to see canon, not just the extended TV editions clips that were thrown in there. I'd like to see the relationship between Michael and Loomis prior to 1978 and why those 15 years ended up developing this shape, this being that just had to kill for no rhyme nor reason, it seemed like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's a really good one. I think that a lot of fans might eat that up. I also think there might be a good amount of fans that don't really like that because they like the mystique and the mystery of Michael Myers. So I feel like that can go both ways. But if it's written well, I guarantee you those that are kind of iffy about it, I guarantee you they'll be on board immediately, and the way that they should shoot it, they should never show Michael's face. You never want to do that, right? So, I mean, like, I feel like, I don't know if you're familiar with the games Halo or anything like that. Like a lot of backlash on the TV series is that they literally showed Master Chief's face in the first episode.
Yeah.
And then he had his mask off, like he had his helmet off during a lot of episodes in the season. And I'm like, Master Chief never wanted to take his helmet off or show his face. So it's like, that is just like a complete disgrace to the fan base. And then they clearly learned nothing because the first poster, the official poster for season 2, is him kneeling with his hand on his helmet and his helmet is off. And I'm just like, that is so crazy to me. That is so crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like that if a group of filmmakers or a studio can get behind that and not showing Michael's face, then I feel like that that would be awesome. But yeah, what Matthew said, they really did ruin Master Chief in the series.
In Halo,
I
they
can't believe that they are that disrespectful to the fan base and to the character. The whole embodiment of Master Chief is not showing his face or, being respectful and keeping his helmet on. And, I can't believe it. So.
Yeah. I feel like that is the biggest reason people shit on Rob Zombie's 2 movies, Halloween movies, because they completely stripped away the mystique and actually made Michael a sympathetic character. It was like, oh no, it's like the Grinch. You see the Grinch, you see the Jim Carrey movie. It's like, oh God, no reason he was such an asshole because they picked on him his whole life. It's like, no.
Yeah.
So again, no, I love Rob and Sherry. Fellow Kings fans, go Kings, go tonight. But yeah, I've said for years, if they would just take away the mask, give me a character, anything else, that's a great pair of movies. It's gory, it's violent, it's a fun story. It's not a Michael Myers story. You guys And it's so funny. At the convention, I ran to Brad Lorry. Finally met Brad Lorry, and I guess he had gotten wind of my dislike of Resurrection, because he kind of gave me a side eye, and then he just, big smile, and bro hugged the whole thing. I'm like, I understand, bro. He goes, no, I understand, because Resurrection is just everything past Laurie's death is just like, why? So I am, like I said, I've said this to you 100 times in private and on air. I so appreciative of the fact that we get John's story, because, like you said, John's story is so captivating. Like, and you went into great detail of it during Haddonfield Nightmare, that John's life was so dictated by Laurie's trauma, and you see that he had tried his damnedest to not pass it on to Lauren, his daughter, but every year at Halloween, sure enough, like clockwork, like with Laurie and John, it just happens. So I definitely look forward to it. It's like, okay, we acknowledge it. He's alive. We've all seen him. What's going to happen next? And I can't wait for the campaign to start. What's your guys' target date as far as releasing the film itself?
So, as long as we have a successful campaign, this one's only running for 35 days. We're not doing the 60-day. You got 35 days to jump on board. We also do think that that's gonna, hopefully help people be like, okay, we only have a very short window here. So yeah, it's 35 days. We've only got 40 regular edition Blu-rays. We do have some signed ones. I think we have 15, and the signed ones are going to be cool. I actually really like these cases. It's going to come with a special edition black case, and it's going to have like the cover. I'll probably release it before, like a few days before the campaign, but it's got like leaves falling all around it, and it's got Michael's mask in the leaves, kind of like it fell into the leaves.
That's great.
Kind of highlighting this is the last nightmare, and who's going to make it by the end of part 2. Is it going to be John that comes out on top, or is it going to be Michael that comes out on top? Who's it going to be?
Awesome.
So,
that's great.
I mean, like, we're definitely going to be teasing about that and everything. So yeah, it's going to be something. We're really excited. I mean, man, I do wish that we were shooting one complete movie, because the final fight, it is unfortunate that in this movie people aren't going to get to see the final fight. The final fight is incredible. As somebody that was involved with the writing, I got to give credit to my co-writer Zach, who wrote a good portion of the final fight. I wrote the entire finale of where part 1 ends. But I got to give Zach a whole lot of credit for helping come up with an epic final fight, man. I mean, it is 7 pages long of just them beating the holy shit out of each other. So, I mean, just and yeah, if you're wondering, is John's face going to basically be covered in complete blood by the end? Oh, it absolutely is. So, I mean, like, it's going to be epic. Yeah, we're excited.
I like the thought that the mindset I get into when I hear that, because John's face will be a mask of red. He'll be wearing a mask just like his uncle. Interesting. I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, again, tune in everybody tomorrow on the YouTube and on the social medias, correct?
Yes. Yep. So tomorrow it drops at 10 a.m. That's Pacific time. It drops at 1 in the afternoon Eastern time. That is where you guys will get a chance to see the first look clip. Right when we're done here, I think I'm going to go on my channel, and the link should be available. It'll say premieres, because I think I'm going to set it as like a premiere so people can watch it live. I always love to see the reactions as people are like watching it as it plays. So, I'm really, really excited.
That's why I sent the reaction I did as soon as I watched the clip, because I knew you'd want to hear the line. And full disclosure, I'll read exactly what I said to everybody one more time. I thanked him. See you tonight. Watch the clip. And my exact thing is, Mr. Myers was not messing around.
Yep.
That's it. And it's, I cannot wait, because this is very much going to be his dance to dance. I'm looking forward to it, brother. So thank you again for popping in. Follow Braden on social media across the board. It's official Braden Timmons is the correct Instagram.
Yeah, it's Bat Timmons official.
Bat Timmons official.
So yeah, you type in Bat Timmons, it'll come up, or just type in Braden Timmons, it'll pop up as well. But yeah, if you guys are fans of Michael, this is definitely going to be the movie for you guys. The best way, and this is what I'll just kind of leave you guys with, the best way to describe it is Haddonfield Nightmares John's movie. The Last Nightmare Part 1 is Michael's movie, and The Last Nightmare Part 2 is both of their movies. It's both of them coming together for one epic final showdown that is definitely going to hopefully leave fans satisfied. My goal is to make them cry at the end. So, that's basically it. But yeah, we're excited, man.
I did. I never thought I'd be one of those guys that's in the theater, crying with satisfaction at the end of a horror saga. But man, I'll tell you what, at the end of Ends, I was like, oh, they got through. So I'm looking forward to that feeling because I was so invested in Nightmare. So and Haddonfield Nightmare, excuse me, not this is the Last Nightmare. I gotta get my terminology straight.
Yeah, no, we're good.
But thank you, Braden, very much. We're going to leave you guys now with a trailer for what's coming up here across the network, because I don't have a trailer for that yet because I ain't allowed to do it till 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So thank you guys very much for watching. He is Braden Timmons. I am Jeff Meacham. We'll see you this weekend where our Price is Right open mic game night and so much more across the multiverse of media. Have a wonderful night, guys.
Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.